Welcome to Week in Review. Thank you for allowing me to share insights with you so you're an informed influencer. Now, I want to focus this entire episode on what's been going on as an assault on our children and families. And who's doing it? It's very sad, but it's the Disney Corporation. Recently, I wrote a commentary and I said Uncle Walt would vomit. I know that's a strong term, but Jesus used it. Would vomit at the direction of Disney. What's going on? Are you keeping up with this? Let's look at this because you need to be involved in prayer and also be informed. I want to give you a quote from a executive at Disney that is involved with the content. And listen to this. I'm here as the mother of 2 queer children, 1 transgender and 1 pansexual. We have many LGBTQ characters in our stories, and yet we don't have enough. Now that's a high official at Disney, and this is the direction that they're pushing. One executive said, we want to have in our characters in the future, 50% that would be LGBTQ and minority. Now, we're faced with something, but I want to start by saying Walt Disney, I believe, would vomit if he saw what's happening to the company right now. They're about to celebrate next year their 100th anniversary. And Walt Disney was an artistic genius. You know, I have this kind of like fake Oscar here. And do you know that Walt Disney has the most Academy Awards of anybody in history? 26 of them. And they were given to honor a man that upheld traditional family values, loved children, put forth characters and movies, television programs, theme parks that accentuated this. But something's gone awry. You know, in my study, I have 2 pictures, one right above my desk of a father who's kneeling behind a little child and praying because of the assault in the background. You can see at the window of demonic forces, and he's praying against them. Also, I have a big picture, I love it, of Joseph in the carpenter shop. And who's right with him? Well, about a 3-year-old little boy, and that's Jesus. And you can see the shadow of the cross. It's a very meaningful and poignant picture. But can you imagine there's individuals that are literally saying at Disney, we object to anybody that would try to put boundaries and say that we can't propagandize children that are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, kindergarten to 3rd grade with our LGBTQ agenda, lifestyle alternatives, choices, gender, and all of this. It's wrong. Now, let me tell you about Walt Disney, because he was one of my heroes growing up, and maybe he was for you. Walt was born in 1901 in Chicago, and he had a gift for drawing, characters. Now, he had to persevere because he was turned down when he went for a job, but later he became an illustrator. And then in time, when he moved, he went to a little carnival with his daughter after he got married. And he was very excited to take her. But while he was there, the seamy and the tawdry atmosphere was so cheap. And he thought, this is wrong. We've got to have a wholesome park for children and families. So with his brother Roy, that's what they did. And they formed in 1955 Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. Now, Walt Disney was committed Christian. He was baptized. And I want to read to you something that really is a fact. Listen to this. Walt Disney was a committed, baptized Christian who said, quote, all I ask of myself is to live a good Christian life. And toward that objective, I bend every effort in shaping my personal, domestic, and professing activities and growth. I have watched constantly that in my work, the highest moral and spiritual standards are upheld. Now that was Walt. And people tried to criticize him and denigrate him. They said he was anti-Semitic and that, but that wasn't true. He was a generous giver to the Jewish causes. And he was honored by B'nai B'rith, the Jewish organization, as the Man of the Year. But you know, Walt Disney in person, he never wanted to be seen. He died of, lung cancer from cigarette smoke, but he never wanted to be seen by any children smoking a cigarette. He was passionate about upholding wholesome values, traditional values, and everything that he did. When you think back when you were a child, you remember Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier? What a hero. And then you had Cinderella and Mary Poppins and Bambi and Dumbo and, Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. All of these wholesome films, they were so uplifting. But something's happened. Jordan Peterson, who wrote the 12 Rules for Living and is a brilliant intellectual and a conservative, he said you have to be careful when corporations or companies begin to open the doors to leftist individuals and activists, because like a Trojan horse, he said they'll come in and they'll destroy the company. Dennis Prager, another conservative author and speaker I respect dearly, you know what he says? He says, everything that the left touches basically is ruined. And we've seen that over the years. You've seen the progression. And, in the beginning, a number of decades ago, the push was for gay liberation. And then all of a sudden they added, lesbian liberation. And then they said, let's put B, bisexual liberation. And then they added transgender. And then it became queer, whatever. And now you can see those activists that are pushing an agenda at Disney, they're also saying, hey, let's have intersex, and let's also have asex. And then there's a push when they put a plus sign there, because there's others that want to push for child sex, people, adults. Yeah, lower the age of consent. And there's an organization, association, what is it called? The Man-Boy Love Association of North America, pushing for this. And then there's those that will push things like bestiality and that they just want open doors. But we have a responsibility. We're called to be the salt of the earth. And if you recall, Jesus put a child in the midst of a crowd once, and he said, to such belongs the kingdom of God. And then he gave a warning. He said, if anyone causes one of these little ones who look to me, to believe in me, to in any way stumble or sin, it would be better to have a millstone put around his neck and be cast into the sea than to cause one of these little ones to stumble. That's a very severe warning. And I want to tell you that parents are waking up and they're saying, we're not going this way. And we're not going to allow people to ruin a company that has been almost 100 years standing for godly values, traditional values, upholding the home. And it's going to take individuals like you and me to be salt and light. I was canceled by a church once, a mega church, because I undertook a project, Is Gay Okay? This was about 9-10 years ago. I wanted to simply educate people in the church and elsewhere on the LGBTQ agenda from a biblical worldview. Well, I was called in on the carpet. I was told if I went ahead with this, it would be a deal breaker. And that was it. That was the end. They canceled me. But you know what? I look at the mess in America today and I see a vacuum because we've had cowardly clergy that don't want to speak up, and it's got to change. And when you see dramatic events like this, you say, I trust as a pastor, no more silence, passivity, and complacency. I'm going to stand for righteousness. We are facing a major assault, and the Disney Corporation is under attack. So what we need to do is obviously intercede and pray. We need to take action. We need to contact the Disney Corporation, and we need to be educated. I encourage you, read the article that I did on Mr. Walt Disney, that he would vomit at the direction of the company. And then also share this commentary, post it, pass it along to people, and let's take a clear stand. The time of silence is over. And I am encouraging every one of you to take action in the prayer realm and also make decisions. What are you going to do about supporting Disney? You make the call, led by God, but this is not a day for inaction. We have to speak up, stand up, pray, and believe God that we can be salt to stop the decay.